Tommy's hands shook as he held the pieces. The action figure's arm had snapped clean off. His birthday present. 3 days old. He'd been so careful with it, just like Mom told him to. But when he pressed the button on the chest, something inside cracked and the whole arm broke away. "Mom?" His voice went high. "Mom, it broke." Sarah came running from the kitchen. She saw her son's face crumbling, tears starting. "Oh, honey, let me see." "I didn't do anything. I just pushed the button." Tommy's crying got louder, his fists clenched around the broken toy. "We can fix it, baby. No." He swung his arm in frustration. His small fist caught Sarah on the cheek. Not hard, but enough. She stepped back, hand to her face, eyes wide. Tommy froze. He'd never hit his mother before. Before we continue, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe to The Ride for Justice. Sarah knelt down slowly. "Tommy, look at me." I'm sorry, Mom." He was sobbing now, the broken toy forgotten, on the floor. "I know, baby. I know you didn't mean it." She pulled him close. Over his shoulder, she stared at the toy. $45. That was her grocery money for 2 days. And it broke in 3 days. She picked up the packaging. Made with premium quality materials, it said. Guaranteed durability. She found the tiny print at the bottom, manufactured by Apex Toys Corporation. Her phone rang. It was her brother, Jake. "Hey Sarah, just checking if you're okay. You sound weird." "Jake, Tommy's toy broke. The expensive one. And he got so upset, he hit me." Silence on the other end. "Then, he what?" "It was an accident. He was just frustrated." "But Jake, this toy was supposed to be quality. It cost me." "I'm coming over, and I'm bringing the guys." "Jake, you don't need to. We'll be there in 20 minutes. He hung up. Sarah looked at Tommy, now curled up on the couch, hiccuping through his tears. She looked at the broken toy, and she wondered what Jake meant by the guys. The rumble started low. Tommy lifted his head from the couch. The sound grew louder, deeper. Not one engine. Many. Sarah went to the window. Her breath caught. Motorcycles, at least 15 of them, rolling up to her small house. Chrome, gleaming, leather jackets. At the front was Jake, on his black Harley. The neighbor's curtains twitched. Mrs. Chen from next door stepped onto her porch, then quickly went back inside. Jake cut his engine. The others followed. The sudden silence felt loud. Sarah opened the door. "Jake, what is this?" Her brother climbed off his bike. Behind him, men and women in leather vests dismounted. The vests had patches. Road Knights, MC, across the back. "This is family business, Sarah." Jake walked up the steps. "Where's Tommy?" The boy appeared behind his mother, eyes red from crying. He looked at the bikers with a mix of fear and awe. Jake knelt down to Tommy's level. "Hey, champ. Your mum told me what happened. Can you show me the toy?" Tommy nodded, went inside, and came back with the broken action figure. Jake examined it carefully. A tall woman with grey streaks in her long braid stepped forward. "I'm Diane," she said to Sarah. "I have 3 kids. I know that toy. Our youngest got the same one last month. Broke in a week." "Mine too," said another biker, a man with a scarred face. "My daughter cried for days." "And mine," said a younger guy with tattoos covering both arms. 2 days it lasted. 2 days. Jake stood up. "This isn't just about Tommy. This company is selling garbage and calling it quality. They're taking money from parents who save up for their kids' birthdays. And when the toys break, what happens? Kids get upset. They cry. They lash out." He looked at his sister. "Show me your cheek." Sarah touched the spot where Tommy had hit her. There was a small red mark. Jake's jaw tightened. "Tommy, come here, son." The boy walked over slowly. "You didn't mean to hurt your mom, right?" Tommy shook his head hard. "I didn't. I'm sorry." "I know, but that toy company, they meant to take your mom's money. They meant to sell something that breaks. They knew kids would cry. They didn't care." Diane spoke up. "We've been talking about this in our group. This Apex Toys company has complaints all over the internet. Parents posting about broken toys. Some kids got hurt by sharp plastic edges. One lawsuit was settled quietly last year." "How do you know all this?" Sarah asked. "My daughter's a lawyer. She keeps tabs on these things." Diane pulled out her phone, showed Sarah screenshots of complaints. Hundreds of them. Thousands. Jake turned to his crew. How many of you have kids or nieces or nephews who got hurt or upset by Apex toys? 13 hands went up. Then, it settled. Jake looked at Sarah. We're going to the factory. We're getting answers. And we're getting justice. Jake, you can't just watch us. They left within the hour. Jake insisted Sarah and Tommy come along. This is your fight too, he said. Sarah sat behind her brother on his bike, Tommy between them wearing a helmet that was too big. The boy had stopped crying. Now, he just looked determined. The 15 motorcycles rolled down the highway in formation. Cars moved aside. Some drivers honked in support. Others stared. Diane rode up beside Jake. She had to shout over the engine noise. Factory's about 40 miles north. I called ahead, told them we were coming. What did they say? Jake yelled back. They hung up. Then they called the police. Jake nodded. Expected. They rode past strip malls and gas stations, past farmland and industrial parks. Tommy pointed at things along the way, his mood lifting with the adventure of it all. Sarah held him tight, her mind racing. What were they going to do when they got there? What could they do? These were bikers, not lawyers. This was crazy. But she thought about that $45. She thought about Tommy's tears. She thought about the red mark on her cheek and the guilt in her son's eyes. Maybe crazy was what was needed. They pulled off the highway onto an access road. The landscape changed. Warehouses appeared. Loading docks, trucks. And then they saw it. A massive building with Apex Toys Corporation in huge letters across the front. A cheerful logo of a smiling bear holding a toy car. Behind the building, smokestacks. In front, a security teat and a small guardhouse. The motorcycles slowed. They formed a line across the entrance to the parking lot. A security guard emerged from the guardhouse, hand on his radio. He was young, maybe 25. He looked at the bikers and swallowed hard. Jake cut his engine. The others followed. In the silence, they could hear the guard's radio crackling. We're here to speak with management, Jake called out. About defective products. The facility doesn't accept walk-ins, the guard said, his voice shaking slightly. You need to go through customer service. There's a number on the website. We tried that, Diane said. We got nowhere. I'm sorry, but you can't. 3 police cars pulled up behind them, sirens wailing. The bikers didn't move. 2 officers got out. One was older, with grey hair and tired eyes. The other was younger, hand near his belt. We got a call about a disturbance, the older officer said. He looked at the bikers, at their leather vests, at the formation they'd made. What's going on here? Jake stepped forward. Officer, we're here peacefully. We just want to talk to someone from Apex about their defective products. You can't block a private entrance. We're not blocking it. We're waiting for someone to come talk to us. The younger officer spoke up. You need to disperse now, or we'll have to take action. Sarah climbed off the bike, still holding Tommy. Officer, please. They sold us a toy that broke in 3 days. My son got so upset he accidentally hurt me. We just want them to acknowledge the problem. The older officer looked at Tommy, at the boy's red eyes. He looked at Sarah's cheek, where a faint bruise was forming. Ma'am, I understand your frustration, but this isn't the way. Then what is? Sarah's voice cracked. Tell me what the way is, because we've tried customer service. We've tried returns. They say it's the consumer's fault. Always. The officer said nothing. Behind them, more motorcycles appeared. The rumble of engines grew louder. Jake's phone buzzed. He looked at it and smiled. Backup's here, he said. 20 more motorcycles rolled up. Then 30 more. Word had spread through the biker community. Parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles. All with stories. All with broken toys. The police called for more units. Soon there were 10 police cars. But there were now over 60 motorcycles. The older officer spoke into his radio. Chief, we've got a situation here. I need you to contact Apex management directly. We need someone to come out and talk to these people. Sarah watched it all unfold. Tommy pressed against her side, no longer scared, just watching. A woman on a red motorcycle pulled up to Sarah. She had kind eyes and graying brown hair. I'm Patricia. My granddaughter got an Apex doll last Christmas. The arm came off, and the those wire cut her hand, needed stitches. Another biker, a man with a prosthetic leg, approached. Name's Marcus. My nephew got a toy car that split apart. Plastic edge caught his eye. He's okay now, but it was close. More stories, more injuries, more tears and disappointments. Sarah realized this wasn't just about Tommy. This was bigger, much bigger. Inside the factory, people were watching from windows. The workers. Sarah could see their faces. They didn't look angry. They looked sympathetic. Jake noticed it too. He walked closer to the building, stood where the workers could see him clearly. He held up Tommy's broken toy. "We know it's not your fault," he shouted up at the windows. "We know you just make what they tell you to make. But someone in there is making these decisions. Someone is choosing profit over safety, and we want to talk to them." More workers appeared at the windows. Some were taking photos with their phones. The security guard's radio squawked. He listened, then looked at the bikers. "Mr. Henderson is coming out. He's the regional manager." "We'll wait," Jake said. 20 minutes passed. The sun was getting lower. Some of the bikers broke out water bottles and snacks. They shared them around. The police officers watched, tense but not interfering. Finally, the front doors opened. A man in a suit emerged, flanked by 2 security guards. He was middle-aged, balding, with glasses. He looked annoyed. "I'm David Henderson. I understand there's a complaint about our products." Jake stepped forward. More than a complaint, a demand for accountability. Henderson's eyes swept over the crowd. "This is highly irregular. We have proper channels for product concerns." "Your proper channels don't work," Diane said. She held up her phone. "I've documented 16 attempts to contact your customer service over the past month about a defective toy that hurt my son. 16 times I was transferred, put on hold, or told it was user error." "I can't speak to individual cases," Henderson said. "Then speak to the pattern," Sarah said, stepping forward with Tommy. "Look at all these people. Look at their faces. These are customers. These are parents. Every single one of us has the same story." Henderson shifted uncomfortably. "Manufacturing defects can occur. We have quality control measures." "That don't work," Jake interrupted. "We want a recall. We want better quality control. We want compensation for medical bills where kids got hurt. And we want an apology." "That's not possible. A recall would cost." "We don't care what it cost," Patricia said, her voice sharp. "My granddaughter needed stitches. What's that cost worth to you?" Henderson's face reddened. "You can't just show up with intimidation tactics and—" "Intimidation?" Jake laughed. "We're standing here peacefully. We're asking to talk." "That's intimidation." One of the factory windows opened. A woman in work clothes leaned out. "He's lying. We've been reporting defects to management for months. They told us to keep producing anyway." Henderson spun around. "Get back to work." Other windows opened. More workers. "It's true. They know about the problems. They just want to hit production quotas." The situation was changing. What had started as bikers versus management was becoming something else entirely. Henderson tried to regain control. "Those workers are misinformed. They don't understand the full picture of manufacturing standards." "We understand perfectly," another worker shouted from a second-floor window. "We understand you're shipping products we know are defective." The front doors burst open again. More workers streamed out. Not all of them, but enough. 20, 30 people in work clothes and safety vests. They walked past the security guards, past Henderson, and joined the bikers. A young man, couldn't have been more than 22, spoke up. "I'm Carlos. I work on the injection molding line. 3 weeks ago, I told my supervisor that the plastic mixture was wrong, too brittle. He told me the formula came from corporate to save costs. He told me to shut up and do my job." An older woman stepped forward. "I'm Louise. I've worked here 19 years. I've seen the quality decline every year. We used to test every 10th product. Now we test every 100th. Moves less." Henderson's face went pale. "You're all violating your employment agreements. You could be terminated." "Go ahead and fire us," Carlos said. "Fire us all. Let's see you meet your production quotas then." The police officers were now talking urgently into their radios. This wasn't a simple disturbance anymore. This was a labor issue, a consumer protection issue, a public safety issue. Jake turned to Henderson. "Still want to tell us this is just a few isolated incidents?" Sarah felt Tommy tugging on her sleeve. "Mom, why were they making bad toys?" "Because someone decided money was more important than kids, baby." A black sedan pulled into the parking lot. It moved slowly through the crowd of bikers who parted to let it through. The car stopped near Henderson. A woman got out. Tall, late 40s, wearing an expensive business suit. She looked at the scene with calculating eyes. I'm Victoria Cross. I'm the CEO of Apex Toys. She spoke clearly, her voice carrying, Mr. Henderson, you're fired. Effective immediately. Security, please escort him off the property. Henderson sputtered. You can't. I just did. Leave. Now. The security guards, looking relieved, guided Henderson away. He was shouting something about lawyers, but nobody was listening. Victoria turned to face the crowd. I owe you all an apology. A real one. Not corporate speak, not liability protection. A real, human apology. She paused. I've been CEO 8 months. I inherited a system that prioritized profit over everything else. I've been trying to change things, but clearly not fast enough. And that's on me. The bikers exchanged glances. This wasn't what they'd expected. I want to hear your stories. Victoria continued. All of them. And I want my workers to tell me everything they've been too afraid to say. We're going to fix this. Not with PR, not with lawyers. Actually fix it. Diane stepped forward. Words are easy. What are you actually going to do? First, immediate recall of the entire Action Force line. That's the toy that hurt most of your children. She pulled out her phone, made a call right there. Legal, this is Victoria. I want a full recall announced tonight. All retailers. Yes, I know the cost. Do it. She hung up. Second, I'm implementing new quality control standards. My workers will help design them. Third, any child who was injured by our products will have their medical bills covered. No questions asked. What about the workers who spoke up? Louise asked. What happens to us? You get promoted. Every single one of you. You're now part of our quality control oversight team, with raises. Carlos spoke up. What about the ones who didn't come out? The ones still inside who were too scared to lose their jobs? Tomorrow, I'm holding an all-hands meeting. Everyone will have the chance to speak, and there will be zero retaliation. I'm putting that in writing. Jake looked at his fellow bikers. Some were nodding. Others still looked skeptical. He turned back to Victoria. Why should we trust you? Because you're not leaving until you do. And honestly, you shouldn't trust me yet. Trust has to be earned. She looked directly at Sarah and Tommy. Young man, what toy did you have? Tommy held up the broken action figure. Victoria examined it. Captain Thunder, batch number should be on the bottom. She checked. This was manufactured 6 weeks ago. Right when Henderson's cost-cutting measures went into full effect, she looked at Tommy. I'm sorry this broke. I'm sorry it upset you. Would you like to see how we're going to make better ones? Tommy looked at his mother. Sarah nodded slowly. Would you all? Victoria gestured to the factory. Come inside. See the problems yourselves. Help us solve them. The factory floor was massive. Assembly lines stretched for hundreds of feet. Machines hummed and clicked. Workers at various stations looked up as the unusual group entered. Bikers, police officers and their CEO. Victoria led them to the injection molding area. Carlos joined her, explaining the process. See this machine? It heats plastic pellets and injects them into molds. The temperature has to be exact. Too hot, the plastic gets brittle. Too cool, it doesn't fill the mold properly. For the last 3 months, Henderson had us running the temperature higher, used less material, went faster, but look at the results. He pulled a fresh Captain Thunder figure from the end of the line. He pressed the chest button. The arm cracked immediately. Same problem, Tommy said quietly. Victoria's jaw clenched. She turned to a supervisor hovering nearby. How many units have we produced with these settings? Approximately 400,000, ma'am. 400,000 defective toys. In 3 months. She closed her eyes briefly. Every single one gets recalled. I don't care if it bankrupts us. Children's safety isn't negotiable. They moved to the packaging area. Louise showed them how the testing protocols had been reduced. We used to stress test every product line, drop tests, pressure tests, age-appropriate testing with actual kids in our lab. All of that was cut or reduced. Patricia spoke up. My granddaughter's doll. The one that cut her. Can you show me that line? They walked to the doll assembly area. The problem became immediately clear. A machine that was supposed to seal the arm joints was misaligned. Every 10th doll or so had an exposed wire where the mechanical arm connected to the body. How long has this been broken? Patricia's voice was cold. 6 weeks, a worker admitted. We reported it. Henderson said fixing it would shut down production for 2 days. He told us to just pull the bad ones off the line. Did you? We tried, but at the speed we were running, we couldn't catch them all. Patricia's hands shook. Sarah took her arm, steadying her. Victoria made another call. I need maintenance in the doll assembly area immediately. Full shutdown until the sealing machine is fixed and tested. I don't care if it takes 2 days or 2 weeks. They continued through the factory. Each area revealed more problems. Cost-cutting measures that sacrificed safety. Workers who knew something was wrong, but feared losing their jobs. A system that had been broken from the top down. Jake noticed something. Where's your executive team? Why aren't they here? Because most of them resigned this morning. They saw this coming and ran. Victoria's voice was bitter. The previous CEO retired 6 months before I started. He took a golden parachute worth millions. Left me with this mess. So you're cleaning it up alone? Looks like I have help now. She gestured at the workers who'd spoken up, at the bikers who'd forced this confrontation. Sometimes you need outside pressure to break a system that's protecting itself. Tommy had wandered over to a table where toys were being hand-painted. An older woman was carefully adding details to a toy race car. She smiled at him. Want to paint one, sweetie? Tommy looked at his mom. Sarah nodded. For the next few minutes, Tommy carefully painted racing stripes on a small car, his tongue stuck out in concentration. The worker helped him, showing him how to keep the brush steady. When he finished, he held it up. Look, Mom. I made one. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. Not sad tears this time. It's beautiful, baby. The worker wrapped the car carefully. This one's made right. Old standards. It'll last. Victoria watched the scene. Something in her expression shifted. This is why we make toys. Look at his face. That joy, that pride. That's what we're supposed to create. Not broken promises and tears. She turned to Jake. I need your help. You and your group. I need you to hold me accountable. I need you to be a voice that I can't ignore. What does that mean? Monthly meetings. You come here, we show you changes. If we're not doing enough, you call us out, publicly if needed. Diane stepped in. And if we find more problems, more defects, you report directly to me. Here's my personal number. Victoria pulled out business cards, started handing them out. I'm serious about this. I can't fix what I don't know about. The sun had set. The factory lights glowed against the dark sky. Inside, workers and bikers sat together in the break room. Someone had ordered pizza. Someone else had made coffee. Tommy sat between Jake and Carlos, listening to Carlos explain how toys were designed. The boy's eyes were wide, his broken toy forgotten for the moment. Sarah sat with Victoria, Louise, and Diane. They were drafting a plan, formal quality standards, worker protections, customer complaint procedures that actually worked. How do we know you'll stick to this? Sarah asked. Companies make promises all the time. Victoria looked at her directly. Because you're not going away. Because those bikers out there aren't going away. Because your brother just told me that the Road Knights MC has chapters in 37 states, and they're all getting the story of what happened here today. That's right, Jake said, walking over with Tommy. We take care of our own, and we take care of kids. You mess this up, we'll be back. And we'll bring a lot more people. I'm counting on it. Victoria stood, addressed the room. Everyone here tonight is part of something important. We're proving that people can make corporations listen, that workers can speak up, that parents can fight for their children. I want to thank you all for not letting us hide from our mistakes. One of the police officers, the older one, spoke up. For the record, this is the weirdest disturbance call I've ever responded to. Usually ends in arrests. This ended in, what? A corporate reform. And pizza, Tommy added, holding up a slice. Everyone laughed. The tension that had filled the day finally broke. Patricia approached Victoria. My granddaughter. Her name is Maya. She's 7. The medical bills were $3,000. That's half my monthly income. I had to choose between paying that and paying rent. Give me the bills. All of them. You'll have a check by the end of the week. And Patricia? I'd like to meet Maya. If she's willing, I'd like to hear her story directly. Sometimes we executives forget that there are real children affected by our decision. Patricia nodded slowly. I'll ask her. As the night wore on, people started to leave. The bikers mounted their motorcycles. The workers headed home. The police left, shaking their heads. but looking satisfied. Sarah, Tommy, and Jake were among the last to go. Victoria walked them to the parking lot. "Tommy," she said, kneeling down. "I'm sorry about Captain Thunder. Really sorry. But I want to show you something." She pulled out her phone, showed him a video. "This is our design team. They're already working on a new version. Stronger, better, and look, they're testing it by having real kids play with it hard. Very hard. If it can survive a 7-year-old boy, it's ready." Tommy watched the video. Kids were throwing the toy, dropping it, playing rough. The toy held up. "When it's ready, I'll send you the first one." "Deal?" "Deal," Tommy said solemnly. They climbed onto Jake's motorcycle. As they pulled away, Sarah looked back at the factory. Workers were still visible inside, making changes. Victoria stood in the parking lot, watching them go. "Jake," Sarah said over the engine noise. "Did we really just change something? We started something. Whether it sticks, that's up to them. But yeah, I think we did." Tommy was quiet for a moment. Then, "Mom, I'm sorry I hit you." Sarah's arms tightened around him. "I know, baby. I know. Uncle Jake, are we coming back?" "Every month, champ. We're going to make sure they keep their promises." "Good." The motorcycles rolled down the highway, lights cutting through the darkness. Behind them, the factory hummed, beginning the work of change. Ahead of them, the road stretched out. Sarah thought about the day. About a broken toy, and a moment of violence that had spiraled into something much bigger. About workers finding their voice, and a CEO willing to listen. About bikers becoming advocates, and a community coming together. Sometimes justice came from unexpected places. Sometimes it rode on motorcycles, and refused to be ignored. Sometimes it started with a child's tears, and ended with accountability. The ride home seemed shorter than the ride there. Tommy fell asleep between them. The toy car he'd painted clutched in his hand. This one wouldn't break. Sarah knew that somehow, when they reached her house, Jake helped carry Tommy inside. The boy barely woke as Sarah put him to bed, the painted car placed carefully on his nightstand. In the living room, Jake sat with his sister. "You know they'll be watching us now," he said, "making sure we follow through." "Let them, we'll follow through." Sarah smiled. "Thanks for having my back. That's what family does. That's what the Brotherhood does." He stood to leave. "Get some rest. Next month, we ride again." After he left, Sarah sat in the quiet house. She picked up the broken Captain Thunder figure from where Tommy had left it. She looked at the snapped arm, the cheap plastic. Then, she put it in a box. Evidence, she thought. A reminder of why they'd fought. A reminder that sometimes, people win. She turned off the lights and went to bed. Tomorrow would bring new challenges. But tonight, they'd won something real. Something that mattered. And that was enough.